Hello and welcome to Time About the Movies Flashback for Memorial Day weekend 1986, with two big blockbusters that the studios were hoping were going to be big successes, and needless to say, not so much. I mean, they did eventually go on to find life afterwards when it came to home media and all that, but in terms of the box office, yeah, not so much. But then again, there was a movie that was kind of getting in the way of that, but we'll touch on that next time around. But until then, let's take a look at these two new releases for this weekend on Memorial Day 1986, and that is, of course, starting off with Sylvester Stallone's Cobra.
Society is breeding a new kind of criminal. It's also breeding a new kind of cop. Meet Cobra. He does the job nobody wants.
Did you use unnecessary deadly force?
I used everything I had.
You know you have an attitude problem.
Yeah, but it's just a little one. You think you would recognize me if you saw me again?
The tall one?
Yeah. The one who wants to kill you.
Do what you have to do to get a lead on this maniac.
And if I find him?
Do what you do best.
Stallone is Cobra, the strong arm of the law.
This is what Beverly Hills Cop would have looked like if Stallone had stuck with it. No joke, the script was largely inspired by what Stallone had originally intended for Beverly Hills Cop until Eddie Murphy came on board and it was rewritten. And, needless to say, if this was the case, probably it was a smart move to go with Eddie Murphy, but, excuse me. But, I mean, for what this is, we'll talk about it here. This is based off of a novel called A Running Duck by Paula Gosling, which was later published as Fair Game, which in and of itself was turned into a movie in 1995, starring Stephen Baldwin and Cindy Crawford, and we all know how well that turned out. Cobra follows Los Angeles police officer Lieutenant Marion Cobra Cabretti, who investigates a string of violent crimes and also protects Ingrid Knudsen, played by Bridget Nielsen, a witness targeted by the perpetrators. And this was actually the final film that the two of them were in while they were still married, because they divorced a year later. But they did eventually show up again in Creed 2 about 32 years ago, I think. Yeah, 32 years ago. Good lord, man. I mean, I'm 37. I'm 37 right now, and to think that this was 40 years ago. I'm getting old, man. But I digress. The movie is not that great. I mean, it's a pretty generic movie in general. It's a movie that, I mean, I'm honestly shocked that Canon Films wasn't involved in this movie, even though, actually, no, this was produced by Canon Films. I'm just looking at it right now, like, yeah, this is produced by Canon Films, and yeah, it definitely shows when you watch this movie. I mean, the bad guys are just generic, sleazy villains in general. I mean, this was the 1980s when this was pretty much the norm, and yes, sometimes it leads to some pretty fun moments overall in there, some really bad, over-the-top line readings. Like, my favorite one is when Sylvester Stallone is back at his home, and, you know, he gets a call from the police about the person he's trying to protect, that's Bridget Nielsen's character, and he's telling the cop, basically, get back to the hospital. But instead of just saying it, he's on the phone going, like, get back to the hospital! Like, it's just like, you can't just say that line in a regular straight way. No, you gotta say it like, get back to the hospital. Like, you gotta say it in the Rocky Balboa voice in general, but I don't know. But the biggest problem I think the movie has is that the villains really are not well defined whatsoever. They're just scumbags that want this new world of theirs to be this new world of theirs. But even in the end, the main bad guy at the end is just like, you still have to take me in and read my rights. It's just like, bitch, did you see the shit you just did? It did, and luckily, like, Stallone does kill him at the end and does what he does best in this, and it's just like everyone's just like, you gotta play it by the books, and it's just kind of like, no, in this case, Stallone's gotta do what he's gotta do, because not only do these people need to be killed for the crimes that they've done, they need to be killed for just being stupid for the way they do it. And yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense whatsoever. It's not as over-the-top stupidly bad as something like Commando, which is a fun, over-the-top stupidly kind of bad. It's just kind of... I can't really say it's a terrible movie, but considering what Stallone was doing at the time, this was definitely not one of his stronger films in general. I mean, this is kind of one of his more lackluster films, and I mean, at least he had a better movie than Arnold Schwarzenegger did the week after this with Raw Deal, which did not turn out to be a good movie for him. But at least this was slightly enjoyable for some parts of it. But it's a largely forgettable movie for me, not one of Stallone's better films in general. So with all that said, let's go ahead and get to the other big new release of the weekend. Finally, we get to the sequel to Poltergeist, Poltergeist 2: The Other Side, with its memorable-ass teaser trailer.
We're back!
Nerds! Okay. That's the last time I'm going to bring it up. Okay. I know that had a great teaser trailer and all. It was a great fake-out, too. But let's get to the real, honest-to-God trailer for Poltergeist 2: The Other Side. This is a great trailer.
They're back.
A great trailer that has still a lot of question marks about the whole idea of, this thing being back and all that. So, you couldn't tell that something was up with the dolls moving by themselves or something like that, but yeah. Poltergeist 2: The Other Side, let's be honest, that one trailer is probably the most memorable thing about this movie, except for the fact that a lot of people were getting killed on these movies, but then again, that was part of the Poltergeist curse. This big story, of course, was that Dominique Dunne, who played the daughter in this, died after the film's first release in '82, and then the person who plays the bad guy in this, Julian Beck, died on September 14th, 1985, so he died before this movie even came out. And then, of course, Heather O'Rourke, she died. This was the last movie she made before she passed away, because the last film was released before her death in February of '88, just 4 months before Poltergeist 3 came out. And, yeah. So needless to say, Poltergeist is a cursed franchise. So, in the second installment of the series, a direct sequel to Poltergeist, the Freeling family who again find themselves under attack from the supernatural forces led by the Beast, revealed to be the spirit of insane preacher Henry Kane, who led an apocalyptic cult during the 19th century, attempting to claim their daughter. In their efforts to save their daughter Kel Ann, the family finds help in Taylor, a Native American shaman, Taylor being played by Will Sampson. And of course, you have the returns of Jo Beth Williams and Craig T. Nelson, as well as Zelda Rubinstein. But, yeah, the biggest problem with this movie is it's sequelitis, and not even good sequelitis overall. I mean, I don't care if you got Aliens surrealist artist H.R. Geiger to design the creature effects for this. I doesn't say the movie in general. This is a largely forgettable movie for good reason, because it's quite simply a been there, done that sequel. I mean, it's a Here We Go Again sequel. We're only making it because the first film was such a gigantic success, and that's it. I mean, there's literally nothing about this movie that's as terrifying or as intimidating as the first film was. That first film still fucks me up to this very day. And yeah, I love how the last 30 seconds of that trailer is just the clips from the previous movie, because apparently the footage they had for the second movie that they had shot was not good enough to scare the people into theaters. But I mean, yeah, this was just a sequel that was completely unnecessary. Nothing about it is scary. Nothing about it is enjoyable. Nothing about it has that it factor that the previous film had. The movie that just keeps you on the edge of your seat. It just doesn't work here with this film. It's a pretty lame sequel. I mean, Poltergeist, and this one's probably my least favorite of the series, because Poltergeist 3 is bad, but it's a fun kind of bad. For some of the tricks that they try to pull on you, it's so ridiculously stupid, so over the top. Every time someone is screaming names in this movie, like Carol Ann, or Ted, or Alice, or Bob, or, like, that's fun. There's just nothing in this movie. It's lifeless. It's boring. There's nothing about it that's scary at all. Like I said, the best thing about this was the teaser trailer, and even then has a lot of question marks to it. So, what else I gotta tell you? Poltergeist 2, The Other Side. It probably should have just stayed on the other side. So, there you go. That's Poltergeist 2, The Other Side for you. And speaking of that movie that kind of put a ding in both Cobra and Poltergeist 2's box office, we'll take a look at that on the next episode, as we'll take a look at the top grossing movie of 1986. Now that I'm saying that, I think Crocodile Dundee was actually the top grossing film of the year, but nevertheless, this was still a massive hit for Paramount. Tom Cruise starring in Tony Scott's Top Gun, of course, classic movie that led to the even more successful sequel more recently. We'll take a look at Top Gun, and then we'll also take a look at Sweet Liberty, which I don't remember this one. I think, wasn't this the Alan Alda movie? I think it's the Alan Alda movie. Yeah, this was Alan Alda directing his first movie after MASH ended about 4 years ago. It stars Michael Caine, Michelle Pfeiffer, Bob Hoskins. It's got a good cast overall. Lillian Gish, her last film before she passed away. But, yeah, I don't remember it, but I'll take a look at it and see if it's any good. We'll talk about it next week. So, Top Gun and Sweet Liberty are the films we'll take a look at next time around. So, with all that said, thank you so much for joining me. I got a video playing in the background. It's a red background, so that's why the color changed. So, with all that said, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe button, notification button. Check out our previous episode as well as our playlist, and I will see you guys next time. So until then, thanks for watching. See you next time. Take care.